Kale has become one of the most popular hearty greens due to its health benefits. Mustard greens are a similar vegetable that has more vitamins, proteins, and most importantly, flavor. Just like the seeds, the leaves taste of mustard and are spicy and slightly bitter when eaten raw. The plant is easily grown, which is why it can be found in many different cuisines, including Italian, which this recipe is inspired by. Start by smashing and roughly chopping 3 cloves of garlic. Then cut a whole shallot lengthwise and thinly slice both halves. Or you could use about a quarter of an onion if that's what you have on hand. Next, cut the ends off of 2 small carrots or 1 big one and shred it with the large holes of a box grater, being careful not to cut your fingers. Add the garlic and shallots to a large saute pan on medium heat with about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Stir frequently for about 2 minutes or until the garlic is just starting to turn golden. Then stir in the carrots along with a generous pinch of salt. Turn the pan to low while you prepare the mustard greens. First, make sure the greens have been rinsed thoroughly with cold water and the very bottom of the stems are discarded. It's easiest to run each individual leaf under the faucet to remove any dirt or sand. Then dry them slightly with a clean kitchen towel. A little water left over will actually help them cook. Stack the leaves on top of each other as best you can, stacking about 8 or so at a time. Roughly cut the leaves into large strips. Try not to cut them much wider than 1.5 inches at the top, and as you get towards the stem, start cutting into thinner pieces. Place the mustard greens in the pan as you cut them. Once all the greens are in the pan, turn the heat back up to medium. Stir them around for a few minutes, adding another pinch of salt and a few grinds of black pepper. Once they've reduced in size by half, add about a third cup of white wine. If you didn't want to use wine, you could add a few tablespoons of rice or white wine vinegar. Since there's a lot of water in the greens, they're going to shrink down a good amount, much like spinach, which is why you need a lot of them. And in this recipe I used about 2 pounds. Now continue to cook on medium heat for another few minutes or so, or until most of the wine is evaporated. In the meantime, mix together about a 1/4 cup of plain breadcrumbs with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Spread a thin layer of the breadcrumbs onto a medium-sized baking dish. This layer won't be crispy, but they'll soak up all the liquid from the greens and be very tasty at the end. Next, spoon over all of the greens and sprinkle a little bit of the breadcrumbs on top. Now put your oven on a low broil and place the baking dish on the top rack. Depending on your oven, it will take about 6 to 8 minutes, but always keep an eye on your food when using the broiler. Once the breadcrumbs are your desired color, take it out, let it cool slightly, and enjoy.